Do you say live mode or live mode? That is the question. And how are we supposed to know which one is correct if we only see it in writing on the UI in The Sims? I'll tell you a story of my relationship with this problem. Back in the day when I first started commenting on the game in English, I just intuitively went for live mode. It just happened and stuck with me. I'd never even thought about it too much, despite being a pretty curious and insightful person when it comes to language. Then I realized through social media that there was actually a debate on how people should pronounce it. And as the vast majority of people, I do have a voice in my head that reads to me, or says thoughts inside. And while observing the debate, the voice got confused. For a while, and I think this is still slightly happening, my brain would refuse to articulate this word whenever I read it or even thought it, because I do think in English sometimes, because I just didn't know anymore. I kind of don't want to sever myself from the pronunciation I always used, but live mode actually makes a lot of sense, and I'll tell you why. In The Sims once, I'm not sure what this is, the back cover, part of a manual, a leaflet from inside the box. Some kind of promotional picture that says build, then buy, and then live. I think even before seeing that, I figured it would make most sense to make them all verbs. It's a logical analogy. But when I saw this, I was sure that it really doesn't make sense to say build, buy, live. I think the entire debate is because neither of those forms actually sound natural. Best grammatically, I think, would be to say building mode, buying mode, and living mode, right? For some reason, build mode and buy mode, we just kind of accepted it, but when it comes to live mode, some people went for live mode because it just made more sense, like the game goes live when you push that button. But if we already have build mode and buy mode, or just build mode in The Sims 4, to make it make sense, we have to say live mode and live with it. You guys win. Not whine. So case closed, I guess. But this is not the end of the video. I have another Sims-related language question. Do you guys say you play a family or play with a family? I've seen and heard both around, and I don't know if there's a correct form, or do we just use whatever. I usually say play with, but I've been switching lately again, because I feel like play a family sounds more immersive and roleplay-ish, when play with a family feels like fooling around or playing with dolls, which is kind of what The Sims essentially is, but it's kind of like using them for something. So I guess it might depend on what exactly you're doing in the game right now. If you're just playing normally, leading their lives and everything, you're playing a family. And when you're drowning them in the pool, then you're playing with a family, I guess? Oh, now I noticed that in The Sims 3, it says start playing with this household. This is something that we can actually learn in writing. We can see it in writing and know exactly what it is. So this is a nice hint, thank you. Straight from the game's developers, but it still sounds mean to me. So how do you say it? Do you even think about it? Is this a non-native English speaker only thing to struggle with very specific game-related language? I think live mode is probably the one that is global because we all learned it from reading, no exceptions. But all the other ones might just be people trying to figure out a second language, right? Let me know what country you're from, if English is your first or second language or third or whatever, and how you talk about The Sims, and if there are other things that you find tricky. That's it for this extra video. Good night.